Alright, hello, welcome to a different type of video. This is going to be a explain video on how to get Runic burger in Find the Burgers. As you can see, I'm on my alt account for this. I have no progress on my alt account whatsoever because I already 100%ed the game again on my main account. So let's just get this over with. The main reason I'm wanting to make this video, other than on Black's Discord server, is to address an issue that I'll talk about when we get to that. So here we are in the forest. As you can see, there's this obelisk here that says "Here lies Runic burger," and if we look at the hint, it says "Awaken the obelisk near the sakura tree by clicking/tapping a nearby object." And well, that object is pretty obvious. It's this gong here. Click that, obelisk moves, orb shows up, and you jump into it. And then you get taken to this room. There's some text here that says, "Runes from an eldest age." And then there's these 6 statues here, which you can click. This one is kind of funny because this just says the letter C. So as you can see, there's like these weird symbols on the things here. Well, except for this one. This one just says the letter C in text for some reason. Now, these are actually moon runes. And this basically tells you click from like alphabetical order. So we gotta decipher this. Okay, on the screen should be an image of the moon runes in question. So now we just gotta basically click these in alphabetical order. Okay, yeah, I just had to think about it for a moment, sorry about that. So basically, if you're facing this direction, this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3. Turn your camera around, this would be 4, this would be 5, this would be 6. So to decipher that, your code would be 451362. So it would be this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and this one, and finally this one. There's a code found, you found a code for Runic burger in the bottom right, and then an obelisk appears and says this: "Venture cross experiences may be the one below. Find a similar obelisk, and unto it enters a code, awaken. Here lies Find the Robloxians." Now, if you're a fan of Brady Ope for a long time, you might have already heard of Find the Robloxians. I sure have. I've played the game before. It's kind of fun, but also frustrating just because of how hard some of the Robloxians can be. But, yeah, this basically says that we gotta go to Find the Robloxians now, so I will see you when we get there. Oh yeah, by the way, I recommend doing these in a private server so you don't get spoiled. Alright, here we are in Find the Robloxians. Now, at spawn, as soon as you load in, you should notice this obelisk in the pond here. And it says, "Here lies Find the Burgers." Now, you would expect to type the code into the chat, but no, you just click this and type in all caps, "Awaken." That does this. There's now a giant obelisk here. It says, "Find 3 other obelisks and solve their puzzles." Let's go do that. I've already seen that when I turned my camera, but let's start with this one here in the neighborhood area. Now, unfortunately, when I was doing this earlier, I got this code spoiled for me because I was doing this in a public server at the time. So after the code got spoiled, I just decided to do it in a private server, so that's why I recommend doing this in private servers. Alright, this one says, "Lost. In the 4 corners of the map, letters have appeared on scramble." This one is pretty self-explanatory. You just gotta go into every corner of the map. So that would be toy, classic Roblox, lava, and ice, respectively. And just find some letters. So let's go do that. So in toy, there's a V in the top right here. In ice, climb up here, and there's an O here. This is an O, not a 0. In lava, here's an E right here in this corner. And finally, in classic Roblox, there should be one in this corner, behind the house. Yep. L. So now you have your letters, and it's pretty easy to unscramble them since it's pretty much only 4. You might have already figured it out by now without having to unscramble the code or getting all the letters, but the code is love. Alright, now let's go to desert to do the next one. This one had to be stumped at first, but once you figure it out, it isn't actually that bad. The text here says, look through past memories and trace a new future. And there's some glass panes here. And if you look through them, some of these gems disappear. There's also numbers on the obelisk here saying 1, 2, 3, and 4, which you should probably figure that out by now, that's the order. Now, what do you do exactly? Well, remember what the text says? Trace a new future? You see how all the ones that are showing are all, like, colored in different ways? So basically, you want to trace lines over these in, like, rainbow order. So red, orange, yellow. That right there would be C. This one is kind of confusing. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue. You might think this is like an upside down V or something, but no, it's supposed to be the letter A. Next we got these two. Red, orange, yellow. That's L. And this one, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, M. But if you figured it out, your code will be calm. And just to be sure, do type these codes all in capital letters. I don't think lowercase letters work. Alright, the final puzzle is in Graveyard, and this is the one I have an issue with. So here's this obelisk, the final puzzle. Find the Robloxians and their first letter. Colors equals difficulty. Tip, use the search bar to help you. So at first this will look confusing to you. Just a bunch of colors and surface textures and whatnot. But it's actually a map of the entire area. See, that one is ice, which is right there. This one is graveyard, which we are currently in. That one is lava, which is right there. So the center one will be spawn. So I'm assuming graveyard was north, we'd be right here. Spawn would be literally just right there. And there's also arrows on these lines telling you the order. Now, here comes the problem. So, you see how it tells you to find the Robloxians and their first letter, and how the colors equal the difficulty of each Robloxian? Well, this isn't exactly accurate. This is mainly the reason why I wanted to make this video, is to address the issue with the graveyard puzzle. This isn't fully accurate. It can actually force people to use tutorials if they can't figure it out. I ended up just having to, like, guess which ones it was because of how inaccurate these difficulties were. Now, thankfully, some of these are the actual correct difficulties, but most of them are incorrect. Also, for ease, input in chat !notepad. It'll put a notepad on your screen, which you could freely drag around. I'll keep it at the top right. So let's start with the graveyard. This one is in the bottom left. And assuming graveyard was north, we'd have to go to the bottom left corner, which would be right here. Apologies for the lag, by the way. So, what medium difficulties are in this area? At first glance, it would just look like this dude right here is the only one in this bottom left area. But it's not them because this is an easy difficulty. In actuality, the one you're looking for is down here. Joker Jack. And if we go to the Rodex, you can see that this is correct. This is a medium. So this is the one we want. Next up is Spawn, which says it is in somewhere around the bottom left once more. Now, here comes the issues. Here's the first incorrect one on the obelisk with their difficulty labels. So it says that it's somewhere in this bottom left area near where this giant obelisk is. There is actually an easy difficulty here, and it's this one, but it's not them. The one you're looking for is actually right here, which is on it. And if you check the Rodex, that's not the correct difficulty. This is a medium, not an easy. But it is the one you're looking for. Next up is Classic Roblox, which says it's a hard difficulty. This one is also correct. So here it says that we gotta go somewhere around the top, which would be around here. And thankfully there is a hard one in this spot. Yellow, which is right here. And thankfully, if we check the Rodex, if I can find it, yep, hard. Another one which is actually the correct difficulty. And finally, the last Robloxian, which according to this map, says is in the right of neighborhood. Now, this one took me the longest to find, because around that area is actually a hard one. It's this guy right here, who's on the toilet, which is on this roof. But, it's not them, unfortunately. The one you're looking for is actually down here in the subway. It is, the one down here, I believe. Yes. This guy. Stinker. Also, by the way, a copy of you shows up right here. I don't know why. And if we check the Rodex once more, you can see that Stinker is also medium difficulty, not hard. But we have our code now, and that's all that matters. Once again, the text here says their first letter, and on the notepad, if you look at their first letter, it says Joys. That is your final code. Once you enter all 3 codes, you'll get teleported to this area, which is reminiscent of the Find the Burgers Runic area. The text here is saying, once collecting the badge below, return to Find the Burgers. Where you started, something has changed. Now just step on this, you'll get the mystery badge, and now we can return to Find the Burgers. Alright, we are back in Find the Burgers, and just like the text said in that area in Find the Robloxians, we just got returned to where we started. So just go behind the house here to the obelisk. You might notice that the obelisk now says, "What have you done?" So just do the same, click the gong, the obelisk moves, you touch the blue orb, and Runic Burger is waiting for you. And that's how you get Runic Burger and Find the Burgers. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope Brady fixes the issue with the graveyard puzzle. So, yeah, that's it. Goodbye.